Hello, and welcome to our latest episode of What's on the Horizon. I'm Lori Sharenbrock here with Chris Shooker of Digital Horizons, and I want to talk about the hottest product topic thing happening here at Digital Horizons, which is door access. It's a new service offering, product offering that you guys are doing. Can you talk a little bit about PDK and why you decided to partner with them as a solution?
Yeah, so for a long time, we're in our, depending on when you're watching this video, if you're in 2035 or you're in 2022, we're just entering our 10th year of business. And, when we started the business, we had a core thing that we knew we wanted to do. And one of the things that we didn't initially want to do, just because we knew we weren't going to have time, was security systems. Sure. And then about 4 years into the business, we brought security on when we brought in a gentleman by the name of Dustin, who's awesome and a great member of our team. He had a lot of background in security and helped us expand into that. And then when Ken joined us, he had a lot of experience too. Both came to us from People Security, and we had worked with him prior. But it's another story for another time.
Sure.
And we started doing that because of the requests we were getting for it. And that's generally how we look at services when we add them is there a demand? Yeah. Do our existing customers want that? Is it something that they value? Is it something they need and they need from us? And so ultimately door access was kind of treated the same way. We were getting a lot of requests for it. The actual service itself, how it works, how it gets installed, how it's programmed, everything is right up our wheelhouse. It's very, very, very similar to everything else that we do. Actually, it's more simple than a lot of what we do in general. It's its whole separate thing. And there's a whole different line of manufacturers for it. And so we were just kind of always aware of it and just continuing to field requests for it. And then it just finally kind of hit a tipping point where it's like, okay, we need to get serious about this and do it, because if this many people are asking for it, clearly it's
a thing.
Either there's not enough being done in the area, or whoever's doing it in the area isn't meeting anybody's needs, which is, if we're getting asked for it, it's going to be one of those two things. So we just had been aware of PDK, which is ProdataKey. PDK is the easiest way of saying it. Just kind of rolls off your tongue.
Yes, it does.
And so when we started looking into it and looking into PDK and other brands and other manufacturers, it was so glaringly obvious that they were the ones to work with. There's a lot of solutions out there for door access. There's a bunch that are okay at doing 1 to 5 doors. There's a bunch that are good at doing large college campuses, enterprise buildings, you name it. But there wasn't really anybody that handled the whole gamut.
Yeah.
I would say, if anything, PDK, maybe their weakness is the giant systems, but that doesn't exist in this area.
No.
And we're not really of the size of installing, let's say, a 300 door system. That's so beyond our scope with what our size is. So maybe someday, but maybe not. So that from that standpoint, it made a lot of sense. But then the major thing that makes PDK so awesome is it's entirely cloud-based.
Yeah.
So what that means is there's still a suite of hardware that exists in the building, which is you still have readers.
Yep.
You still have what's referred to as the actual controllers.
Yep.
And then you have the standard door strikes, electromagnetic, systems, that type of stuff that, permits or allows access to the building. But what PDK does different is the actual computing power and the coordination and everything that's needed to interface with all of those parts is all hosted. It's all in the cloud.
Yeah.
And so what that means is any software, firmware, all those things that have to happen just happen. It's automatic.
Yeah.
There's no need to manage a Windows computer, a Linux-based PC, and have an IT department dedicated to doing those things. And then the coolest part is you have the ability to not only access the system remotely for just opening a door and permitting access, but you have full ability to add or remove a user, give somebody permanent access, just full access to the system from anywhere in the world, as long as where you're at is internet and your building has internet. It's always tied together, and it's it really is the best solution. And it's funny when I talk to people about door access, like I'm an AV guy at heart. And there's two things in this business that actually excite me more than AV, which is motorized window treatments and door access. And so I find myself, when I talk about door access, I get overly excited, and I actually have to talk myself down from excitedness because I worry I'm getting too much. I feel like I'm being too salesy, but it's irrational. But when I talk to people about it, it's like it makes so much sense that it's like people don't know how much sense it makes.
Oh yeah.
And so it's a great solution, and we have 4 installs as of today under our belt, including our office, and a bunch scheduled, and the reception to it has been amazing, and we're really excited.
Yeah, I mean, and I have one of those systems.
Mm-hmm.
I have a co-working space in Brainerd, and it really was essential in thinking about doing it because of the way people have to get into the building. Like, speaking as the user person on this side of it, like not having keys is the most amazing thing ever, because before we had you.
No, you still have keys, but you're not handing keys out, right? Is that?
No, we have 0 keys.
Yeah.
We have 0 keys.
Yeah.
The only key is to our mechanical room. We keep that locked tight, but that is the only key we have to manage, and it's because we have so many people going back and forth. I did not want to be a person managing keys. And I've spoken with other people who've used the system too. And they, had said they would often make 2 or 3 trips to the store to make keys.
Right.
Whereas now you just, like, truly, you just enter someone's name in the app, you give them a code, and voila.
Yeah. What's it like?
It's
20
done.
seconds?
Tops.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a really simple user interface too, as well as what it takes on your side to be able to do it. I mean, is there any, I guess there's really not a lot of limitations to what you can do with it. Like you said, I mean, there's scale, obviously, but other than that, I mean, there's really not a kind of building that it doesn't work for.
No, I mean, there's definitely some. I mean, every building is different.
Certainly.
And with everything that we do, the ideal scenario is we could do it when there's construction going on.
Yep.
Because there is still wiring that needs to be run. So the biggest challenge we would run into is just if we're walking into an existing building that doesn't have a door access system, we have to run wires through attics or surface mount and conduit, and do what we can to conceal things. So that's really the major limitation. It's really flexible in the way that, let's say it's super challenging to actually wire to a door. Well, we can decentralize all of the equipment and put the door controllers closer to the door rather than trying to home run all the wires.
Yeah.
And then the actual door controller can be linked together via a secure private mesh network, not like Wi-Fi, but kind of like Wi-Fi. So if there are doors that are hard to get to, or let's say it takes 10 hours to get the wire there, well, we can just change the equipment that's used and cut the install time into a third, and decentralize the equipment to tie everything in. So yeah, it's I mean, really the only challenge is the building that we have to put it into, and we just have to. Just every project is different.
Are you doing any residential applications of it, or is it primarily still commercial?
I mean, you could install it in a residential environment, and I think there's definitely some benefits that would go along with doing that. But largely, that type of access to a residential home isn't desired.
Right.
Now, not to say that if it weren't in a home that it couldn't be utilized, or if it weren't a home, it could be utilized. But the inquiry that we get is it will be 99.9% commercial.
Sure.
But in my head, I do see scenarios where it could be put into a home, and because I mean, what's the alternative? You end up with a wireless door lock from Schlage, and there's batteries in it, and it's a do-it-yourself. It's kind of clunky, so you definitely could do a door access system and have it be a part of a probably a higher end residential home, and there'd be a lot of benefit and value to it. But I don't feel like it's a solution that anybody is going to be aware of in a residential settings.
True.
And so if it were to go in that space, it would be something that would be, somebody would probably need to request, hey, I want the ability to do this. And then I have to figure it out.
You can bring it there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't think the cost of it is that much different. We were really surprised at how much it actually costs for a door handle. I mean,
right.
Honestly, when you look
not even
at
a smart door handle or anything.
Right.
Yeah.
A dumb one.
Yeah.
I mean, the cost is not that much different.
Right.
And I think you get a higher level of security,
for sure.
honestly, with the wireless door access system or this cloud-based system.
Right.
For us, security was a big deal.
Yeah.
And I feel like you actually get a lot more
you do.
security and control with that kind of system on it.
Well, you can know who's coming and going.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic.
Is there anything like new or kind of happening on the horizon with it that you can see coming, or just like it's just going to grow?
Technology wise, it's not a segment that sees a lot of innovation, if you will. The two main things that are probably new to Dorax, the three things I guess, is the growth of the cloud-based solution, which PDK is definitely on the forefront of. But they somewhat recently introduced a Bluetooth reader.
Oh yeah, yes.
So that's like a normal reader. There's just no keypad on it, and it has the ability to pair with your phone.
Yep, I have it. Yep.
And the way it works is you actually can swipe your phone to get in. There's no and at that point you're not using a code. There's no card. There's no fob. It's literally a Bluetooth pairing with the phone. And the way PDK, the reader actually works is you basically just need the phone on you. Yes. And then you can swipe your hand over the reader and it will permit access. So that's a relatively new thing. And then they just introduced a new series of readers under the Red header. And at its core, it works just like any other door access system when it comes to fobs and cards and things like that. But it does have the capability of using readers that operate at a heightened level of security and encryption. Sure. So if you're working in a space where, information is really critical and it's more than just permission of inside and out, you want to really encrypt the doors because you are concerned about like a high level attack getting into the building. Sure. They have an encrypted solution for those types of entities, but it comes at an increased cost, and most people aren't going to need that. It's more of just the general permission of access. But yeah, that's the main things. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. And if you are curious about door access PDK, definitely give them a call. And stay tuned to the social media channels. We've been putting quite a bit out on the door access and what that's like. Yeah. And there'll be a case study coming soon that you guys can read through and see. Depending on when you're watching this, it might already be out, but on how that process works and what the benefits are. But it's a really, really cool thing. We couldn't run our business without it, I don't think. Yeah. So thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you next episode.